Solas! Welcome back to Wana's Perspectives podcast, where you can tune into today's strategies for tomorrow's success. With me, Ravi Virgaramat, as your host for today's session. Alright, when people in Indonesia think about Japan, they often associate with discipline, precision, strong service, and very distinctive work culture. But beyond those general impressions, there are also personal experiences and deeper nuances that shape how we understand Japan. So today, we're not talking about Japanese culture, but also about how cultural understanding can shape stronger business collaboration between Japan and Indonesia. And here, I'm not alone. I'm with two beautiful women from both two countries. Please introduce yourself, girls. All right.
Hi. Hello, my name is Sayaka Iwasaki from Japan. I'm here for about 10 years and working as marketing managers in Japan desk of Yamada Consulting Spire. Nice to see you.
Wow. Nice to see you, Sayaka-san. And also from the Indonesian side.
Hello everyone, my name is Mutia and I'm here from the Indonesian office as M&A consultant and I've been here maybe 1.5 years. So, hi everybody.
Yay. Arigato and terima kasih. Okay. Before we get into the business side, I'd like to start the conversation from Kak Mutia. We know that you just came from Japan, right, to visit Japan office and doing a business meeting in there. From your perspective, Kamutia, what was the strongest impression that stayed with you when working closely with Japan and working in a Japanese company?
Okay, so maybe let me do the storytelling first. We just finished the kickoff meeting from Japan maybe 2 weeks ago. So the first and most impression from my Japanese colleague there, it's they are really disciplined and also the time management is really accurate. So let's say if they say that okay. Please meet in this point of in this location around 1 o'clock before 1 o'clock, everybody is already gathering around. So that's really impressive for me as Indonesian citizen. Thank you.
Wow, what a very positive impression. And to Sayaka-san, from your side, as you have said, you already working in here about 10 years and more. Yeah, right. What was your impression of the working style and communication culture in here?
Mm. My first impression about that is people are overall friendly to me from the very first time, and also all are active at office and also noisy. Yeah, in Japan we usually take importance on to focus on working and be silent, not to bother others. But here, people are more actively talking, and maybe sometimes singing. But anyways, they are working. Also, I noticed that they are working very long time after long way to come to the office.
Oh, what a unique impression, I might say, because I think Saika-san talking about me because when I'm working, I like to sing as well. Yeah, that's very interesting. And also, these differences may seem subtle on the surface, like how people communicate and as Kamute said, like their culture, like to attend everything, stick with the time, right? And yeah, but in reality, all of that can deeply affect trust, teamwork, and also the expectation between one and another, right? And from my another question, and this is to Sayaka-san. In Japan, there's a strong culture of timely and accurate reporting, often linked to the concept of horenso. If I'm not right, is this
Yeah.
correct?
Horenzo,
Horenso, all right. In Indonesia, the style might be different. And how do you personally see that difference?
Mm. Yeah, as you mentioned, Horenzo, which is actually literally bayam in Indonesian. it means like you need to report timely and accurate, and also what is yeah, quickly. Yeah. But here, what is important is not like that. Most important thing I feel is like to deliver the best report to the destination. So people wait to see the best timing.
Mhm.
So sometimes not timely, but sometimes good.
Ah, I see. And what do you think about that, Kamutia? Do you agree?
Yeah, I think in Indonesia, most of the time that we're also focusing on the how to make the presentation is more presentable to the
Yeah.
client with a lot of maybe colors and pictures. So when I compare to the Japanese report, mostly it's already data and compact. So
Ah,
maybe that's the difference between the two presentable proposal from each of the countries.
all right. By the point of view from Sayaka-san and Kak Mutia, these differences do not necessarily mean one way is better than another, right? And in many cases, each side brings different strengths. Japan may be stronger in precision, structure, and consistency, while Indonesia often stands out in adaptability, relationship building, and also flexibility. And when those strengths come together, that is where collaboration becomes truly interesting. To both of you, what do you think Indonesia can learn from Japan? And I'd like to start with Kang Lutia.
Okay, so from my experience previously, as I already said before, the time accuracy it's really number one because in Indonesia mostly maybe because of the traffic jam and everything, so yeah, maybe 10 or 15 minutes late in Indonesia it's okay, but at Japan maybe most of the clients or us we arrive early before the confirmation date. So it's I really hoping that maybe in the future Indonesia can learn on that side. And the second one is we are from the Japanese side they're really respectful to each others, and the discipline that show from their inside we can see that they really respect us even though we're coming from a different culture and also a different country. So yeah, I think we can learn a lot from the Japanese citizen for their culture.
Alright. And to Sayaka-san, what's your thought on that?
Oh yeah. To Miss Mutia's opinion, maybe I think I can add. Japanese thinks it's important to give some kind of certainty. So when you come and when you submit report and what is content maybe can be expectable. Being expectable is quite important for us, I think. Yeah. And
Alright.
also, what we can learn from Indonesia is also we have some things that we can learn from Indonesia as well. One thing is that the Indonesian way is much easier than Japanese way. I feel in my experience, so we can find some good way in between to work comfortably and more like assured, better maybe. And also, I think Indonesians are more better at working with different people. So they are more tolerant with other type of people, regardless where they are from, what are the background or how they work or whatever. So I think these two we can learn from Indonesia.
Ooh, thank you so much, Sayaka-san. And Kamutia, have you ever had like a feedback from a Japanese partner when working closely with us? Maybe what's their thought on that?
I think as me as a M&A consultant, there's like a different pace when we're gathering the information. As for Indonesian usually a financial advisor from Indonesia, they're trying to approach the client in more a friendly way manner. So maybe for the gathering information, first we catch up over coffee, and then after regaining the trust, later on we get the information. So maybe it takes more time than Japanese pace. So usually Japanese pace is like um, more accurate, like first week what we get, second week what we get. But in Indonesia, maybe for that timeline, usually it takes more times.
Oh, yeah, and that is exactly why culture is not just a background topic, right? It shapes how people communicate, how they build trust, and also how this decision are made, and ultimately how business partnership are formed. So when we talk about Japan and Indonesia, cultural understanding is not separate from business collaboration, like it is part of its foundation. And also, if we zoom out from the interpersonal level to the bigger picture, the relationship between Japan and Indonesia has been strong for many years, not only culturally but also economically. But in changing global environment, the more interesting question today is how do Japanese company actually see Indonesia right now? Like, what makes Indonesia an attractive market today in the eyes of Japanese company? And I think Saiga-san is the better person to answer this question.
Yeah. Simply, what makes Indonesian market attractive to Japanese is like it's close and big market. We are Japanese has less percent less populations, so we are kind of forced to go out. So accessing to some good big market is a must thing. And Indonesia is very close, so we can easily access. And time gap is only 2 hours between Japan and Jakarta, so it's very easy to start with.
Oh,
And also, Indonesia has large populations, so there are very potential big market here. So, and also economy is growing, so there will be a lot of chances here for Japanese. So these things are makes Indonesia attractive to Japanese. Yeah.
I see. And from the Indonesia side, Kamute, why do you think a Japanese company loves to do business in Indonesia? As we know that in Indonesia there are a lot of existing Japanese companies, right? From your opinion, why they often invest in Indonesia market?
So, from my perspective, most of it, same as Sayaka-san already said before. So, they see Indonesia as a growing market and a large population. And currently, Indonesia have a lot of active gap, maybe active age gap between 20 until 35. So, it might say that Japanese company also looking the Indonesian worker to work at their company, and also the consume of the product like the FMCG and everything. Usually, the most active user is from 20 under 35s, right? So we also consume a lot of products. So yeah, maybe that is one of the things that companies investor see Indonesian as a country. It's attractive.
I see. And Kamutia, how do you see the relationship between Indonesia and Japan? Do you see that it's just like they invest to us to produce or sell only, or but also to build more meaningful local partnership?
Yeah. So as from my perspective, yes, of course, Japanese company also the first things that I always not I always knew that most of them say to us that there need synergy between what we want to achieve and what they want to achieve also. So if there is no synergy between Indonesian office and also the Japanese office, they will not think further or they will not invest in the company. So maybe from the Indonesia perspective also, most of the collaboration and also the partnership between Japanese and also Indonesia, the Japanese company see Indonesia as one of the the company that can synergy from their objective.
All right. I couldn't agree more because I think um it is like the reason why the relationship between Japan and Indonesia stay longer, right? And to make the collaboration sustain more throughout many years. And if Indonesia is increasingly seen as like a strategy partner uh, to the eyes of the Japanese, the next question is where the strongest opportunities actually lies. And to Sayaka-san, which sectors do you think are currently the most promising for Japanese companies in Indonesia?
Hmm. It's a very difficult question, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, many companies sees like consumer market as a hot and has a potential. And also something related to that like logistics or ICTs and also yeah food and beverage of course. And also maybe like agriculture or fisheries might have a potential, but still not so many cases, I think.
Wow, that's a great information. And also, Sayaka-san has said about the ICT, and uh, as my experience, I've been facing like a lot of ICT client from Japan, as we know that that Japan is one of the strongest country when we talk about cybersecurity also, right? So I think that sector in Indonesia is like one of the most promising. And yeah, uh, alongside with that, Mutia, from your perspective, what types of collaboration are most likely to succeed in the long term between Japanese and Indonesian companies?
Most of the strategy that they are looking for is like a joint venture maybe, because in Indonesia there's a lot of rules from the government that need to be adjusted. So if they're looking for this joint venture or maybe strategic partner, as you already said before, um, they already have a Indonesian employee in here, so maybe from the go-to-market strategy, it's more easy for them to enter Indonesian market.
All right. When we talk about strong opportunity, there are also real challenges. And very often, the challenge is not only regulation, but also how both sides align on working style, expectation, and pace. To Sayaka and Kak Mutia, which difference says tends to be the most difficult in practice? Whether it is communication style, decision-making process, expectation, or sense of time. Maybe from Sayaka-san first?
Okay. What I often feel is that the trends comes from different communication style from the both side. When we often search for partners, right? And we assist communication between Japanese party and Indonesian parties. And Japanese parties usually expect fast response, but Indonesians not always fast. They have some different style. So in between, we have some difficulty in meeting both expectations. So it is one thing we face too.
And Nadia?
Okay, so maybe I have other perspective that maybe can have a better understanding to our audience. So in M&A, most of the buyer from Japan usually looking from Indonesian office that Indonesian company that already sustain in terms of revenue and EBITDA in the last 3 years. But currently, right now, it's kind of hard looking for Indonesian office that match with the inquiry from Japanese buyer. So maybe it's a challenging for us to meet the expectation from Japanese buyer at this time.
I see. So what we have discussed so far is not just about communicating style, right? But also how trust and expectation are built in cross-border partnerships. And at the same time, strong opportunity often comes with equal important challenges. So while the potential is clear, there are also several gaps that need to be understood if the partnership is to go beyond initial interest. And I think that brings us to the most important takeaway from today's discussion. So in the end, the real value lies is not only on the opportunity itself, but in the ability to understand and work through differences together. And as the last question that I would like to ask to Kak Mutia and Sayaka-san, how do you feel right now working closely with Japan and working closely with Indonesia? If you can tell to our audience, maybe from Kak Mutia?
Yeah, so it's a really great experience for me working closely with Japanese border, Japanese colleague, and also the other country as well. So it gives me a lot more understanding for their another culture from the other country, and we, as we already talked and also discussed previously, we can always have the positive culture that we can take in Indonesia.
Okay. And from Sayaka-san?
Yeah, me as well. Enjoying in staying in different countries in Indonesia from Japan. But overall, after 10 years or so, I feel people are just people, not Indonesian or Japanese or not labeled people. So just colleagues. So we can communicate and we understand and we chat and yeah, we like, we hate or whatever. So it's quite
Interesting.
I don't know what to say. It's quite normal thing,
Mhm.
and no like nothing like Indonesian or Japan or different countries. So yeah, I think like if we work together for a long time, maybe things are like that.
I see. And I think we all believe that if there is one key message from today's discussion, it is culture is not barrier to collaboration, but it is the part of the foundation. And when Japan and Indonesia are both willing to understand each other's ways of working, expectation, and also values, the result is not just a business transaction, but also a long-term and strategic partnership. Thank you so much, Kak Mutia and Sayaka-san. Terima kasih and arigatou gozaimasu for sharing not only your professional insight, but also your personal reflections toward each other. And I think today's conversation shows that understanding culture is not simply a nice addition. It is essential if we want to build stronger and more lasting collaboration between Japan and Indonesia.
Sayonara.